welcome to our series, Women of the Month. We are so thankful here at Soul Sisters to be surrounded in community with such phenomenal women that make such a huge impact in the lives of women here in the Bay Area and beyond. And I could not think of a better way to kick off this series than these two phenomenal hermanas, sisters, and amazing business partners, Shan and Erika. Thank you so much for being here with us today. We're going to hear all about your brand, Shades by Shan, as well as the amazing work that you do in the community. And so without further ado, thank you all for tuning in. And also, if you could kick us off with your amazing introductions, we can get started.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much to everybody watching right now and to all our soul sisters out there. We're so honored to be the first on this series. I'm Shan. I am the founder of Shades by Shan Cosmetics and the MamaBerries Nonprofit Foundation. I am also a radio host here in the Bay Area. So set your dials if you haven't already to Mix 106.5 San Jose. And Erika, my wonderful sister, she is my right hand. She is my soul sister. I'll let her introduce herself, but together we started Shades by Shan and the MamaBerries Foundation, and we'll tell you all about it.
Yeah, thanks so much, Shan. And we're so excited, Dr. Christine. Like, we love you so much, and everything that you're doing for the community just resonates so much with our mission as well here at Shades by Shan and at the MamaBerries Nonprofit Foundation as well. So Shan came to me with an idea almost 7 years ago. I can't believe it. I was living in Asia. I was an executive and working in corporate world. And she said, I want to start a makeup line. And I was burnt out at the time. And so she was just like, well, what can we do? And I said, well, you know what? I'm actually thinking about quitting my job and taking some time for myself because, mental health is very important. Your physical health is very important. So decided to do that and take the plunge with supporting her on starting it. And I said, I'm going to take 6 months off. And now it's been six plus years now that I've been doing this with Shan. And so it's been a real whirlwind for me as well, coming from the corporate world, taking that time off and reinventing yourself into being an entrepreneur and to going into a field that I knew nothing about, but I knew business. And that's what I always say, businesses run, they have to be profitable. Nonprofit as well has to make money to be able to help its cause. And so that's where I come in where Shades by Shan is and the MamaBerries Foundation. But Shan is a creative genius. She's the beautiful face of the line. And she just has the charisma that can fill a room. So why not build a brand around a star? That's how I see it.
Yeah, I'm like, no. I wanted to add on that because people might be thinking like, well, what is Shades by Shan? Mm-hmm. Shades by Shan Cosmetics. We started out of our mom's basement here in San Francisco, about going on 7 years. And we really started it as just a little side hustle because our mom always instilled in us, like, tienen que comenzar algo de ustedes propia. Like, you have to come out with something of yourselves. Okay. And so I thought long and hard, but I was always in radio. I wasn't really like Erika, who was this like data analytical, business savvy person. And so I was always like going to these big beauty stores and buying makeup. And I was like, wow, these, I would go home and try them and be like, why isn't this as good as the last time I bought it? Or this company is not that consistent. So I said, hey, why don't we start a cosmetics line? But Erika and I also said, well, how can we give back to the community that, we've always been, that's always been instilled in us with our mom as well. And so we started looking for different charities and nothing was really resonating with us. And then it was right in front of our face, our single mom who immigrated from Ecuador. She divorced our dad when I was a year old. We didn't really know that side of the family. We didn't have any family here because my mom immigrated from Ecuador by herself. So we said, okay, let's give back to single parents in need. Let's give back to these amazing true heroes. And back then, about 7 years ago, we couldn't really find any nonprofit organizations. So I also turned to Eric and I said, well, people start nonprofits all the time, right? Like, why can't we do that? And so we set out to start.
AKA Erika, figure it out.
Erika, please figure out how to do it because I don't know how to do that. But we figured it out. We registered with the government, and on Mother's Day, we presented the MamaBerries Nonprofit Foundation to our mom in her honor because she goes by MamaBerries. And of course, there was all the waterworks and everything, and we kicked off Shades by Shan, and up till today, we've been able to help over 100 single parent families with financial assistance just with people buying our makeup.
Wow.
So starting with 2 products out of our mom's garage with a dream, packaging orders with my baby on my hip, my sister running to the UPS store, my mom running to Walgreens. It was really a family business. And now launching in 610 JC stores nationwide.
Amazing.
And also, and we've done over 10 million Ipsy boxes and BoxyCharm boxes. So, gosh, we have a lot to unpack here, Dr. Christine.
Yeah. I mean, I hope that as you bring that to consciousness, this is the doctor in me talking, that you bring this top of mind, that I just hope that you both are so proud. Like, look what you've done.
Mhm.
Look what you've
I
built.
know sometimes we have to pinch ourselves and look back and like really
Take a
just sit
second.
there and take a second.
Yeah.
Wow, we really started from nada, from nothing.
Mhm.
But we, and we made mistakes along the way. We didn't come from a beauty background, and I think that was also the beauty of us too, because we were so scrappy. We still are scrappy, but we just had that drive and we had that dream, and I think people came to us because we had a cause, we had that mission. So many people are affected by single parents, or they are a single parent and coming to shop this brand that they're like, hey, I've never heard of, but I'm a single mom and I just want to support because nobody ever does anything for me. And then also coming from that world where we didn't come from the beauty realm, so people actually kind of trusted us more in a sense, like, hey, no, these people actually just know what's up. Like they know good makeup, they have the quality, they have the instinct, they have the drive, they have the dream, and we want to support. So that is
Yeah.
why we've been able to be here for almost 7 years later.
And on the back end too, with our suppliers, it's like we were able to push them and say, well, they're like, well, that's how it's always been done. Well, really, does it have to be that way? So we were able to push some different angles on that front too.
Can you expand a little bit more on that, Erica? I'd love to know.
Yeah, I think it's like, they've had a formula. We've said, well, we want to change it like this, like that, like that. And so we really been able to push and say, these are the formulas that we're wanting to get to. These are the benchmarks, like let's push the bar even further. So we've been able to work with them, over now having a relationship with them over 7 years, right? They trust us, we trust them, but we can really kind of have that. No, we want to go better. We want to go farther. We want to go more pigment, more colors, more shades. That's kind of been the beauty of also our relationship with them.
That's so cool. It makes me think about the women in our network at Soul Sisters. So many women come to us because for a variety of reasons, tending to their personal wellness, but also their professional growth. And
Mhm.
so many women who come to Soul Sisters we're finding that the entry point is, I need help on my professional journey. And some of these women have already kicked off, or some of them have their dreams and just need to know, how do I do this? And some women are like, I've gotten as far as I can. I need that extra push. And so much of what you're saying resonates so much with me, and also the women I have in my mind of who we've interacted with around. I want to, so many entrepreneurs in particular in our network as well, who have these jobs that they're happy with, but then they also have these big dreams and big ideas, and also feel those systemic barriers around being a woman of color, having all these different barriers that make it even harder for us systemically to succeed. And so to hear two sisters, two independent women, but also coming together with diverse skills, and you also have diverse backgrounds in your identities. And how do you continue to, I imagine it's a journey, continue to ground yourself in your values and the mission driven ethics that you have in your business, to promote diversity and inclusion through your products.
I mean, I think that is just the heartbeat of our brand. At the end of the day, we have a mission to help single parents in need. And for us, we're called Shades by Shan because there's so many different shades of skin tones, ethnicities. I mean, we're not just a brand for Latinas, we're a brand for everybody. But as Latinas, we come in the milkiest of white, like Erica, to the deepest chocolate, Afro Latina. So we wanted to encompass and include everybody. When we come out with products, we really, we sit there, we have all kinds of ethnicities on our team. And we're like, if it doesn't work for Kenya and it doesn't work for Juan, if it doesn't work for Caitlin, if it does, then we're not coming out with it, because we want everybody to feel included. And for us, that is the heartbeat behind our brand, because we don't want anybody to feel left out. And then giving back also, I think that is why, people keep coming back, is because we're putting out consistent product and just about anybody could use it. And also we're giving back to the community in a positive way, where I think a lot of these companies nowadays, it's like, it's just all about making money. But for us, it's like, it's about selling our product because we want to make a difference. And for us,
and that affordable price point, right?
Yeah.
That affordable price point, that everybody's very price sensitive, especially right now. We're not out here to make millions of dollars and like billions of dollars like most of these beauty brands do. If you go walk into Sephora, there's been some videos that have been trending, and it's like all of them are owned by the L'Oreal's, Estee Lauders of the world. We're not. We're still an indie brand, so we're really here to, again, make that difference, hit our goals. Yes, we have to pay our team and live comfortably, but that's at the first goal. That's what we want to be able to do.
It's really interesting to see you both interact. And even here, I've known you for just a little while, but I get to know you more and more. And as I do, I think about the diversity in your skill sets. Some of those are natural to you, some of them that you've built upon over time. I think about so many people, so many women in particular, again, have these dreams and visions and want to be values based, want to, again, be led, just like what you said. We're sticking to what we believe in. We've learned a lot along the way. I actually have a question around having, in your case, Shan, calling in your sister, having a number two, or if it's not one or two, is a partnership. We have so many people with dreams, but don't even know who they need to help them. And I'm curious how the two of you have found that you
Work
fulfill different needs or balance each other, or advice you would give if someone's like, I'm a solopreneur and I get stuck because I'm only doing this by myself. How would they know who to lean on, and how has that made a difference in your brand?
Yeah, for me, my I think that is such a it's a Latina thing too, because when you're raised, it's like your sister, your brother, their family, you rely on them, you trust them, you build that
Family
or
first.
like even when we would get in the ugliest of fights, my mom would be like, pero es tu hermana y le tienes que perdonar y le tienes, like my mom has always been the glue that brings us together. And that's why I'm able to trust my sister. I don't think I trust anybody as much as I trust my sister. When I go to her when it's good, the bad, the ugly, the great. Like I share all of my life with her. And I think that is also like a cultural thing, because we're very, very close, because our mother instilled that in us. But
there's like a running joke, right? We're 50-50 partners, right? But my mom says, no, you're 49-49, I'm 2%. So when we fight, mom's that like tiebreaker, right? So
Mama.
because she always knew, because you hear so many sad stories of it, business breaking up families, greed breaking up families. And that was always the number one. We have cousins, because we're so close. We had cousins come into this meeting to say like, no, if anything ever happens to the sisters, like we're jumping in. And like I get emotional, right? Because we have such a beautiful support system.
Yeah,
and then two people like us two, yes, but we also need our third, so that's Juanito, so we have to give him props too.
Yes, he always says I'm the third sister.
Yes.
So yeah, I think you just have to find the people that you trust and take care of those people.
Yes.
With all your might, all your heart, because when you find those people that fight for you and are there for you no matter what, you got to take care of those people to the end. And that is our Juanito to us. He's now our CMO. He started with like just running our social media back in the day. He actually started as one of my radio listeners, and he would call in and say, hey Queen, can I request a song? Can I request a song? And I was like, oh my gosh, who is this fabulous boy requesting songs and going on my Instagram and spamming me? And he had the most beautiful makeup, and he had his little YouTube channel, and that's how we grew, right? But he was like, let me run your social media. I was like, you're not touching my Instagram. Like, who is this kid? Like, no.
So 18 years old,
18 years old. But now he's our CMO. He runs the show. He is like, he is family to us. So really, it's just kind of, and there's also people that haven't worked out, and never ending on bad terms, right? Like, unfortunately, it's just like not everybody is is going to work out. And just knowing that, that's a really tough part for me as an entrepreneur, is like, oh my gosh, there have to be those awkward conversations. But then I have Erica, who's just like, business is business, baby. Like, we got, like, let's rock and roll. I can have an awkward conversation. If you don't want to do it, like, I will. And then, you know,
I mean, it still hurts. It still hurts. And,
it
but
is,
I
but
think, but
she
at the end of the
comes from
day,
the corporate world. I
yeah,
didn't.
I've had to do
Yeah.
it. Yeah, I've had to do
Yeah.
it. But I think it's also, I look at the next generation, right? If you're as a solopreneur, if you're, out there having to be scrappy, still not making any money or making ends meet, you look for interns. I started off as an intern. Shan started off as an intern. There are hungry kids out there knocking on people's doors, trying to get opportunities. And I feel that you learn way more in a small business because you're going to be given way more opportunities, way more hats to put on, and to trial out and see really what fits for you, what goes on. And that's one of the reasons why we have our marketing assistant now. She emailed, and I get emails all the time, but sometimes I don't respond because I'm like, oh, okay, or I try to get to as many people. She kept emailing. She kept emailing me. She kept following up with me. And I was like, who is this girl? And finally I was like, okay, let me shoot her over to Juan and see if he needs an assistant. But she was wanting to intern for free and your college credit. And I was like, hell, I'll take it. Because we need more hands when you're building a brand. You really, really do. And if she were to go maybe work for a benefit or one of these other bigger brands, I don't know if she would have had all of this experience that she saw firsthand, because you're kind of given a very siloed job to do. Versus here, it's like, well, try this, do social media, do emails, do SMS, do, hey, product development. Hey,
This is the
all of
real
it. This is the
insight to
real
how we
thing.
yeah.
Yeah. And again, we're a small brand, but we have all of these things that we need to do, versus a big brand has a department for each one, and a VP for each one.
Right.
So, I think here it's, look for the youth. The youth is out there. Gen Z is, you hear, back and forth, but there are good Gen Zers out there that are that are hungry, that are creative and want to try out. So, give them a shot, 6 months, see how it goes.
Absolutely.
Trials. I think that's my biggest advice for somebody who's out there that needs help is, look for an intern or get creative, get creative with your pay structure, commission based. I have a friend right now, she's a photographer. She's like, I'm like imploding because she's building up her photography business. She's still working her full-time day job. And she's like, trying to get the photography business to pay for her bills, but she can't do that because so it's like she's in this like catch-22. And I said, you need to hire somebody. And she's like, but I don't have the money yet. And I was like, well, how about you give them a piece of every booking that they book for you, and you go out and do what you love. There was just shooting the photos and editing the photos. And so she's like, oh, didn't think of that. That's something that we could work on. So, but that's through community. That's through having these types of friendships and networking that happened over a dinner, And I said, get talking about that. So, go out and every time you see somebody, you something fresh comes out, some new idea pops out. So I think that's the beauty of being out there in the world. But if you're enclosed at home and only focused on your business, like sometimes you got to get out, you got to breathe a little bit.
Absolutely. I think of the quote, it's an African proverb: if you want to go slow, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
Go together.
It's a beautiful reminder for me too, right? Teams are everything. We have so many ideas. I'm a lot like you, Shan. I'm a visionary. I have big dreams. And then I have to remember that I don't know everything. And I actually have grown. I used to be in this mindset of I need to learn how to be in the weeds and the details. And to a degree, as business owners, we, of course, we need to know what's going on. But I also had to come to a point of realization like, no, this is why there are so many different people with so many different brilliant minds and skill sets. We call in and we do it together. And I've been so fortunate, similar to shout out my team of amazing volunteers who care about the mission of Soul Sisters in this work. And as we continue to figure out what we're going to do for funding, getting people together, being respectful and mindful of their time and what they're willing to commit to, but at the same time, having such they have a willingness to serve, and we have an opportunity for them to grow and learn and also find some value in serving and growing, just like you all have said. So it's really inspiring to hear about how you're building a business. And I think that so there's something really powerful to be said about, as much as your mission and values driven, you still know the importance of making money, and you still find great value in that, and being women, and especially Latina women, who are breaking a lot of the taboos and the stigmas around us not having the job of our dreams or not building wealth. And what is so beautiful about you is you're finding ways to do both. That doesn't mean losing yourself, but still also valuing that you want to take care of yourself and create jobs for other people as well. There's so much power in that. And so my question is really around, you've been doing all these things, you haven't gone to the larger corporate brands to buy out your business, but you also have found yourself with these really remarkable opportunities, like having your brands in JCPenney and other partnerships. How did you all find yourself from an independent brand in your mama's basement or your basement to these big opportunities? Can you share more about that?
Oh my gosh. It was definitely our mama's basement
Okay.
because we were still living at home. I mean, I was still living at home and it was just, yeah. But you know what? I think, and I am a big proponent of, I don't know. See, I go between, is it like Diosito? Is it destiny? Is it the universe? Is it timing? Is it like right time, right place, right time? Erica, do you want to kind of talk about it? I don't know.
Yeah, I think again, it's being at the right place at the right time. And again, it's that whole universe, God, whatever your beliefs are. I believe it's the universe you're manifesting. And we do vision boards at the beginning of every year. We
Mm.
sit with our whole team and we write our personal vision boards of what we want for ourselves. So we're manifesting that for ourselves personally. Then we do it for our roles in the business. And then we get collectively and do it together as a team. And we print it out and we all have it on our walls. And so you're looking at that and those are your goals. That's what you want to achieve and you want to get out there. So we have that energy that we've been putting out that, okay, we want to go into a retailer. We didn't know how we were going to do it. I remember the first call that it was somebody at JCPenney that saw our product and we got an email and I was like, what's going on? And so we took the meeting and they're like, oh yeah. And then they were telling us like, do you guys have a loading ramp at your warehouse? And I was like, Shan kicks me under the table. And I'm like,
I was like,
well,
Mama's driveway, Mama's
we,
driveway.
yeah, I was like, well, we have a ramp. It's a driveway. And they're like, okay, well, we're gonna go to a warehouse where a truck can come to pick up because our mom's house is a narrow street. So I was like, okay, so we needed to figure out that. But it was just such a blessing because JCPenney has been an amazing partner for us because they were willing to work with indie brands and take us by the hand and show us this way and kind of align with us and like say, well, you're going to need a warehouse. These are the things that you're going to need to get compliant in order for a retailer to take you on. And so they give us the time and the bandwidth to be able to do that. And we hustled and we worked with our suppliers and we said, we need to turn around this really quickly. And we just learned. We had to like really just sit in the weeds and figure it out
It
and
was
learn.
like learning another language. Like,
Logistics.
see, it's like what? Like the barcodes had to be on the specific part of the packaging box, and if the barcode was a little bit to the left, then you get fined for that. It's so many, like it's so logistically just it's insane. And so the fact that we even took it on and like we were able to, because I remember getting the call and the JCPenney said, we love your brand. We love you. We love the mission behind it. We love your pigment. We love everything. We want one of everything that you have in your assortment, and we want it for 610 stores. We hung up the call, and me and Juan were like, yeah, we did it. Oh my, and Erica was just like this. And we're like, what? You're not happy? She goes, yeah, but how are we going to do it? Like how, like that, do you know how many like hundreds of millions of dollars that's going to take? Shannon, do the math. And I was like, of course, I don't know how to do math in my brain. I was like, oh man. Like, so my mom was willing to refinance her house. We were looking at small business loans. We were like, okay, what do I need to, like, what do we need to do in order to do this? And we ended up figuring it out. Thank God my mom didn't have to refinance her house. We're like, if anything, we want to help you pay off your house. Okay.
Right.
But like, that is how much of a family unit we are. And I remember when we got an email from Ipsy. Do you remember this, Erica?
Yeah, so where we were sitting.
We were at Las Pencas Taqueria in South City because they have the best tacos. We were sitting under La Virgencita de Guadalupe and we get this email and we're like, what? Like Ipsy, like the Ipsy is asking to work with us. And, we were hopped on a call. We couldn't, like, we were just like, honestly, again, my mom was like, ¿Qué necesito hacer, mijas? Like, ¿qué necesito hacer? Yo vendo la casa, yo hago cualquier cosa, like, whatever. And we're like, mom, like, it's just not going to work. They're asking for 1,000,000 units. Like, that's $1,000,000. Like, we're not there. We had to gracefully decline. It hurt our soul, but we're just like, we can't make that happen. And then I want to say a couple months later, they reached back out to us and like, your brand is still buzzing. Everybody's talking about your brand on our floor. We want to try to figure something out with you guys. So we did. And that is how we got into Ipsy. But like, gosh, we've had so many, oh my gosh, moments, even with Pantone Color of the Year. We were the first cosmetics brand in history to partner with Pantone for Color of the Year. No other makeup line has been able to pull it off because in reality, they sent us a Bible of NDAs to sign, and then they could tell us the name. And by that point, there was like 3 months in order to come out with a product with the Color of the Year. And if we leaked it, like, we could this whole huge thing. So that is why, most cosmetics companies, they can't turn around a product in 3 months. Shades by Shan, on the other hand, we scrappy and we're proud of it because we were able to do it. But that got us in Vogue, that got us in Forbes, that got us in Fast Company. The Today Show was talking about Pantone Color of the Year. So these and this happened because of one of my followers went on our Facebook page, found a random cell phone number, called it at least 50 times, left 20 voicemails, and it was Juanito's phone number. I don't know why his phone number was even on our Facebook page. And they go, "This is so random, but I'm trying to reach Shan. This is a very top secret project that we're working on. I think you guys could be a really great fit for this product. Please call me back." And we called her and she goes, "Yeah, we want to extend the invite to be the cosmetics brand to launch Pantone Color of the Year for their 25th year anniversary." And we're like, what? So it's just, you work hard and then you reach these like little milestone goals. Like they come up some way, somehow. But I think it's honestly working hard, being good people, and being nice and kind, because I think being kind costs exactly $0. Being kind has taken us further than if we were mean and rude and we knew everything, so just remembering, like, be kind, like, take life as it comes. You will make mistakes, but at the end of the day, it's not about giving up when a mistake comes. It's how you troubleshoot it and move on. And I think
Yeah.
that's how we really have gotten to where we are.
Yeah. That growth mindset is just so imperative, And even now, like, we were talking about how do you keep growing? I still have another job. I manage a school. I'm head of admissions for a private school in Redwood City. And I do that because that was my initial career. I did that for 15 years. And so during COVID, and while Shades by Shan was kind of growing up, I still had some time, and I still needed to make money. That's the reality of being a single woman in the Bay Area at the time. I had to pay my rent. And so I started consulting for them, and it's been 4 years now that I've been with them. But I see that, and I see that growth mindset, but that's so imperative of instilling it into the young generation, starting at kindergarten. That starts then. Now, we talk about growth mindset as adults. It's like, dude, that muscle has been tried and established already. That starts early in our young generation. So push that on the kids. And that's why I always talk about our youth, because I have so much faith. After seeing what we're doing at our school, they're going to be great. And we have to trust them too. We have to trust what their opinions are. We see in social media, Gen Z can revolutionize a campaign in 2 seconds. And so that's why for us, it's important to also have Gen Zs on our team. It's important that we always say, "Kaylin, what do you think here?" And we want her opinion, because again, as a small brand, sometimes you have your way of thinking, but you have to kind of open up a little bit. You have to see and take their opinions too.
I love that. Thank you for calling that in the diversity in age and insight. There's so much to learn when you're young. And then there's also so much that the young folks can teach us, because they just have such a different way of thinking and different access to different tools like technology that is much more fresh in their generations than it is for us, and other tools of that nature. So wow. Thank you again also for sharing I love the part about the growth mindset, because I don't see a lot of spaces really normalizing the mistakes, the setbacks, the things that are out of our hands, the not so glamorous things of partnerships or things like that, things of that nature working out. Everything just looks good and you're just doing it. And we know that's not the truth. And I think what I'm hearing is even when they don't, it's important to take pause. Erika, you said when I was burned out, I needed to take pause and reevaluate the next path. We need those moments, whether they're on the part of, I can't do this anymore, or, whoa, let me just recenter for a bit. Those parts are so important on the journey. And I think you would agree the journey is not linear. We pause, we redirect, we have to take a step back, look inside, talk to our team, and then continue on the path that is the next step. So thank you again for normalizing that part of the journey that we don't often hear about. And also, again, thinking about there are opportunities that can come our way. It sounds like the two of you have just found ways to be consistent, stay true to your values, and really staying rooted in your character. I love that you highlighted that for us, Shan, because can't buy character, can't change those types of things. That's something that we invest in ourselves when we work on ourselves, and how imperative it is to have that reflected in our businesses too. So thank you again for highlighting that. I'd love to ask you if you can think of any clients that you've had who've given any feedback on your brand, or your products, that it just really speaks to all the ways that everything that you've worked hard, it's translated in the ways that it's made a woman or a person that you've served through your products feel, and how that really just continues to keep you inspired to keep going.
I think
I mean, the first thing I was just going to say, the person, or, the establishment that really kind of gave us like the biggest, like, wow, is Oprah. That's when I was like, okay, that was really, really cool.
Oprah posted about our hydrating primer and how it was one of the best hydrating moisturizing primers for people with sensitive skin and rosacea. And we were like, Oprah, what?
Amazing.
That was crazy.
Amazing.
Yeah. And then I think on one of the MamaBerries winners, Shani, do you have one on top of mind?
People can go on our website, either shadesbyshan.com or the MamaBerriesFoundation.org, and you can actually nominate a single parent that needs help. We look for parents that really just, they're in dire need. Their rent is backed up. They're getting evicted. Their car got repoed. They can't pay for daycare. They have built up medical bills, whatever it is, but something that, people that need it really
now.
Now. Yeah. So we got a nomination of this woman that she was here on asylum, and we were actually in Miami with doing grand openings with the JCPenney team and the stores. And we got a nomination that she had flown from Venezuela to, or was it Venezuela or Colombia? Venezuela, right? Venezuela on asylum. Her family members were supposed to pick her up at the airport. She was 9 months pregnant. No one came to pick her up. They stopped answering their phones. She was wandering the streets of Miami. She ended up finding a church with monjitas, with nuns. They took her in. She started making empanadas to make ends meet and selling it on the street. She ended up renting a 1-bedroom room in a house with strangers that she didn't know, with her now baby daughter. And she had no one. She didn't speak English. She didn't know her way around. She was just selling food on the street to make anything. And so we heard her story and we said, we have to help her. So we brought her to a JCPenney grand opening. We awarded her $2,500 from the MamaBerries Nonprofit Foundation. Our amazing retail partner, JCPenney, was there, and they go, we're going to double that. We want to make that $5,000.
Wow.
And then one of JCPenney's partners, 13 Loon, they said, and we're going to triple it. We're going to give her $7,000.
Wow.
And so this woman walked away with her $7,000 check. JCPenney also said, we'll help you get a job here. We'll pay for your children's daycare. We'll pay for whatever bills you need to get you on your feet. And that to me is like, this is why we do what we do. Wow. And it was just, I still have goosebumps. I still want to cry when I think about it, but we changed this woman's life simply by people buying our makeup. And I think that's just, it's so powerful. And she ended up buying a car. She ended up, getting back on her feet and everything. But that to me was just, it just adds fuel to us. You're like, yes, let's freaking keep going. Like, let's keep making a difference. And that's what sets us apart from other beauty brands, because we're not just about beauty, we're about community.
That's right.
Mhm.
I mean, what do I even say? So incredible. And I think you all are a wonderful testament to, we know who we are. We know we know our lane, and it doesn't mean that we don't change lanes, but I think that there's a confidence to you about, we're not trying to be that. It's not our goal, and we know what our goal and vision is, and we're going to do everything within our lane to make that the best of the best. And then we leave space for those who have different sets of resources, different sets of connections, and we stay true to who we are. We communicate, right? We'll be a spokesperson for the people who really need that resource. And that is so reflective of what we continuously want to do and try to do at Soul Sisters, right? Is we have these phenomenal women in our network who have climbed the ladder of different professional routes, who do have resources that through various privileges that they have and they want to give back. And then we have clients coming in who are, again, saying, I need some support. So Soul Sisters can be that bridge or the stepping stone to helping women in the different areas that they need support in their lives. That's what we're here to do. And I just love to, again, meet and hear stories, like meet people like you and hear stories of, this is real. These are real life examples of how a beauty brand can change lives. So it can come from, I made somebody feel beautiful with the products that I released, to we really were real and serious about what we meant to create community and transform lives in broader ways than simply this product we produced. So you all are the champions. Y'all are the champions.
Oh,
Thank you. And don't get, and remember, we're still out there shoulder to shoulder with the big guys trying to, for shelf space. So we're still having to compete.
I know.
It's crazy, right? Because we're trying to do this, but we're also like, okay, we have to compete now, right? Because otherwise we don't get to stay on the shelves.
So please go out and shop and support. That's the easiest way. And when you were saying, it climbed the ladder, like we truly did climb the ladder. I remember it was 6 years ago. We used to go do pop-ups at our local mall, and we used to think it was a coolest thing. We used to go to Stonestown, Eastridge Mall, Valley Fair, and we used to pop up with our little six by six table. My now husband used to take his little HHR car, pack it up with all our little bins of makeup. We had to spin the wheel, and that's how we got new customers. Like, hola señora, ¿quiere spin the wheel for a free lip gloss? Come spin the wheel. Like, that is how scrappy we started. Okay. And we were so proud of that. Like, our mom helping us package orders with my baby on my hip, and I went through a deep postpartum depression because I found out I was 5 months pregnant when I was pregnant. So, there's all these things that like gives us the grit that keeps us going, that it's like, if I could go through that, man, let's just keep going. Cause I know the world is our oyster. Like we can make a difference. I want to buy a single mom a house one day. I want to I want to be a global brand. I want to be a household name. I want to help a million single parents. That's what I want to see on our vision board next, And I think manifesting that, being a positive person, it takes you so far. Like, even when you were talking about our vision boards, Erika, it was crazy because every single one of us said we wanted a Times Square billboard. Everybody on our team put a Times Square billboard. And it was like, not even just a Times Square billboard. It was like right under the NASDAQ sign. I don't know why we all chose that one. Maybe it was just because it was like easy, like Google, that was the first picture you chose to put on your vision board. We got a Times Square billboard
this year.
NASDAQ sign this year. We won Best Indie Brand from Ipsy with all the Ipsters voting for Shades by Shan. Like, these are things that it's just like, the world is so powerful. So you have to go out and get it. Like, you have to dream, you have to think, you have to manifest, you have to, you know what I kind of do? I kind of feel like sometimes I put myself in the shoes already, like, oh, it's happened. It's happened. I already know. Like, it's just a matter of time. It's already happened. And it's so crazy because when we reached our next goal, it's like, I told you it was going to happen.
But that frequency, that vibration, that I truly believe in, that energy force, that if you can vibrate at that, you're believing it, it's going to attract. You attract. It's amazing. It really is a gift.
It is. Then it becomes, again, top of mind consciousness, and then it also propels us to go get it, to go search for it, receive it. And there's, again, that concept that we've been touching on, if I'm going to do everything within my human power to go get it,
Hmm.
I'm going to leave space for higher power, outside energies, God,
Hmm.
whatever it is that you
Mhm.
believe in,
Yeah.
to do the rest. And I
Yeah.
love that concept because there's only so much within our human power we can do. And I love when the things happen. If I did all the things I could check off and it still happened outside of anything I could have imagined, that was
Hmm.
something bigger than me.
Mhm.
Absolutely. And then at the same time, you also have to be very protective of your energy. We've had to cut people off that are just not serving it, like that are negative, that we feel that that's like that vampire effect. So we've had to do that as well in order to really protect that energy source that we crave and we're working towards too.
Yeah. And that was a big I mean, again, for me, I'm not that confrontational person, but I also had to realize, we have to protect ourselves. Like just as much as we're willing to give and give and give, there's also people that are just like want to take and take and take. And the older I get, the more it's like your circle gets smaller, right? Your circle gets smaller, it gets tighter. The people that want to support you. And sometimes, I feel like strangers are more supportive than your own friends. And that to me is like, but it's true. It's true. Strangers are more supportive. And like, but like, look at you, Dr. Christine. We got to meet you and we've like stayed connected. We have all these dreams together that we've talked about wanting to do for the community and for Soul Sisters and for the city of Oakland and San Francisco. Like, there's just so much magic to be done. And I think that being women, we have to hold each other's hands and raise each other up.
Hmm.
I when I first started in radio, I had my idols like the other women be so mean to me, like belittle me, be just rude, and I was like, but why? Like, is it me? Is it me? And it's just like, no, it's just because other people don't want to see you succeed. So just know that you're gonna encounter people like that along the way, but you're going to surround yourself with greatness. You're going to surround yourself with your circle, and that is what's going to elevate you because you all want to get better together.
That's right. And when you
Mhm.
find your people, you hold on to them. Just like I told them already, everybody,
Mhm.
that I'm not letting
Yes.
these women
Nope,
go.
we're not
You
letting you
just
go.
do. You feel it. You feel it. You know
Mhm.
it. And I
Mhm.
think especially as we get older with our continued growth and wisdom, there's just not a lot of extra space, right? We're always learning and evolving, but I'll speak for myself, really cognizant about the people that I want to be in community with. And
Mhm.
there are different ages where we run into people that maybe are not aligned with us, but when they are, that's when I'm really being intentional
Hmm.
about holding them close. And those are the folks who, if you have a dream, if you have a question, like the two of you have been so generous to me and Soul Sisters of, I have this idea, what do you think? And the beautiful part that you all do and demonstrate so well is even if you don't know or don't have that resource, you will let us know if it comes across your way. And that's one of the
Mhm.
biggest ways that we grow, right? Is we don't always all have the resource or the
Mhm.
answers, but now you're top of mind. And I love what you were sharing, the many examples you shared about people knocking on your door and not giving up. That is something, especially now in my I'm always growing and evolving, but I'm not in a beginner stage right now in my life. I'm in a probably middle
Hmm.
stage of my life. But now that I have people knocking on my door, I do pay attention to the ones who, if I missed it or I just haven't had time, they come back and they come back. You're actually not bothering anybody. You're actually like, "Oh god,
No,
people are usually just very busy." And
Mhm.
pay
absolutely.
attention to your drive when you are
Yes.
so
Mhm.
be persistent. Be persistent. You're
Hmm.
not bothering anybody. You really just want to make sure that when they finally do open the door, that you're ready to present clearly on what it is
Yeah.
you help with or what you need help for. So
And remember, rejection is just redirection. So, you know, if it's a no right now, something else will come. And I always say I never have a plan B. I always have a plan A because if that plan A doesn't work, I'll have another plan A. Like you always find the
And
way.
that is Erika K. Clark for you.
that's right. I love that.
Yes.
Well, as we come to a close, you've given us so much richness, and I just want to continuously thank you for being yourselves, for all your insights, for all the hard work that you've done. And I do believe that there's so much more ahead for both of you in this business and this foundation that you've built. I cannot wait to just watch and take part and be a part of all of that. And I would also love to hear any top 1 to 2 forms of advice that you have for women who are looking to build a values rooted brand in the beauty industry or otherwise, what advice would you give them that really has helped you or that you've learned along the way that you'd like to pass on?
Yeah.
I think for me, it's find what you're passionate about and everything else will follow. And if there's a will, there's a way. My fifth grade teacher, Mr. I was gonna call him Dr. Golf. Mr. Golf, he said, if there's a will, there's a way. And that always stuck with me because sometimes we're just are an easy, like, no, it's not gonna work. No, it's not gonna work. But I'm like, but why? Why isn't it gonna work? And if someone gives me a no, I'll just keep going to the next person until I get a yes. And that's just, in my character, because I don't want to give up. I don't want, just because you're giving me a block right here, I'm not going to try to get to my goal. So, and the other thing is also, if you're thinking about starting something, is just start it. La cosa es empezar. You just have to take a leap and go for it. Because if you keep waiting around, like, what if we waited 5-6 years? We wouldn't be talking to you. We wouldn't have gotten a Times Square billboard. We wouldn't have been in JCPenney Beauty. We wouldn't have been in Ipsy. Like, all these amazing things. Like, if we wouldn't just have started. And we look back and we're like, oh my gosh, like, I can't believe that was our packaging back then. Like, oh, okay.
But that's true. That's
Yeah.
true. Like, yeah. I asked a billionaire what was the secret to success, and he said, if you're not embarrassed by your first launch, you launch too late. So just go out and put it out, and you will reiterate your packaging. You'll iterate your formulas. You'll keep it going. But if you wait too long, because sometimes people are, they're nervous. They're scary. You're gonna, it's like putting an Instagram picture out there, and you're like, no, you have to just put it out there. Trust that you've done the best, and say, hey, the next formula will get it better, or the next time we'll get it better. And you just keep tweaking until, like, because if you see our first packaging, oh boy,
I need to see a picture now. You have to say,
oh my gosh, it's like night and day,
But
And
but you're proud as well too. You're
of
like,
course.
I'm so glad we thought that was cute, and look at us now. Like, okay, that was so. What if we did it? What if we were like, oh, this isn't good enough? A lot of people just think they're not good enough. They're not good enough. They're not good enough. They have that imposter syndrome, and I hate hearing about this imposter syndrome, because guess what? We all have it. Like, do I know what I'm doing today talking to you, Dr. Christine? No, I don't. But I'm talking from the soul. I'm talking from my heart. And and guess what? We didn't come from the beauty background, but guess what? We tried, and we kept building along the way. We're here, so stop thinking you're not good enough. We all don't know what we're doing here. So just try your best.
And I tell my team all the time, the bigger the brand, the bigger the shit show, because it is the bigger the company, the bigger nobody knows what's doing. Everybody has 10,000 titles, and nobody gets anything done. Right. Execution is king, and it's very hard to get there. So, and to your point of what to do for, like, a mission-driven entity or a mission-driven brand that you're building, is know your why. Know your why through and through, and really make that your North Star, because there are days that you're going to want to give up. There are days that you're going to just cry all day. There are days where you're not going to want to get out of bed. But when you remember what your why is and why you are doing this, that will give you the strength to get up. That will give you the strength to wipe those tears. And that will give you the strength to keep going.
And that is why we created a waterproof gel. When you cry, it won't come off. Okay,
pull out the product.
Right? Because, girl, I be crying at least once a week over here. So, girl, it's tear-proof, waterproof, jump in the pool proof.
Love it.
That is why. That is
absolutely. Oh my gosh, y'all. Thank you so much. This has been absolutely beautiful. I am full. I am fed. Thank you so much for speaking life into me, into all of the listeners that will be touched by your stories and your efforts. I believe on Instagram you are at Shades by Shan, and that's your website as well. We will absolutely drop that in the notes on YouTube as well as on Instagram and LinkedIn. And
I have one more thing to add. We created a promo code for Soul Sister. So anybody watching this, you'll get 20% off if you shop Shades by Shan for the next 3 months. 3 months. Okay. It will be out there because I know holidays are coming up.
Wow.
Dropped. We want to help you. So 20% off with the code word Soul Sisters.
Beautiful. We'll make sure to absolutely highlight that. Y'all are amazing. Thank you so much. Best to you. Thank you all.
Thank you.
you.
Bye, guys.